Hello, everybody. This is MoveEasy Yoga with Via and the tribe, MoveEasy tribe. Today is September 11th, 2021. 21 years ago, 9/11 happened. And so let's get started with a little bit of quiet reflection with our legs up, bent knees on a chair or a couch. We're going to be here for 7 minutes. You're going to watch your breath. If there are any noises or any thoughts that you have during this time, just allow them to be there, but don't engage with them. That will be the practice. And the other thing I want to say is if you can rock your pelvis into a neutral position. So the tailbone should not be going up towards the ceiling. It should not be going down towards the floor. Something neutral that allows your psoas to release. And you may be able to adjust this by how far your hips are away from the chair. Go ahead and stay there. And just slowly move your head from one side to the other. Cervical rotation, about 6 times. And come back to center and make a figure 8 with your nose. Reverse your figure 8. Come back to center without moving anything but your eyeballs. Move your eyeballs to the right and wait for a sigh, swallow, yawn, or gulp. Resetting the vagus nerve. Come back to center. Shift your eyeballs and nothing else to the left. Waiting for an involuntary sigh, swallow, yawn, or gulp. Whenever you're ready, come back to center and repeat that. 2 more sets, right, left, without my cueing. Come back to center. We're going to do head ramping. You can put your hands, interlace fingers underneath your head. You can put a set of therapy balls. You can put a sponge ball underneath your head at the occipital ridge. And whatever you've done there, then just start to press the occipital ridge, the base of the back of the skull, into the floor or the ball or the balls. And then hold for a while and then release, and do that about 6 times, 5 more times. And whenever you're ready, come up to a floor seated position. Find your most comfortable floor-seated position. You may want to be sitting on a cushion or a blanket, stacked blanket. Let's do the neuro balls first. The hand series, hand release series neuro balls. Kathy, why don't you lead it?
Oh, okay. Hold on, let me get set up. This is actually Caitlin's idea and it works really well. Sit in hero pose and have 2 bricks so they're even. Excuse me. So, Via, do you want a time?
I will time.
Okay.
40 seconds.
Yeah. So we're going to start with the neuro ball just at the top, top of the palm, in the middle of the fingers. So press down. My tendency is to hunch my shoulders. I have to remind myself not to do that. So 40 seconds.
Mm-hmm. The timing is happening. If you don't have neuro balls, you can use tennis balls, but I highly recommend getting the neuro balls.
Okay.
Release.
Yep. The second position is right in the middle of the palm. So we're doing the same as we do on our feet, but right in the middle of the palm. 40 seconds. Okay. And then at the base of the palm. Again, 40 seconds.
Kathleen just arrived. Kathleen, if you are able and you have the neuro balls, we're doing that. We're at the base of the palm. Or you can have tennis balls or therapy balls. But I know you have some hand issues right now, Kathleen. Maybe if you have neuro balls, this might help.
Yes. And the next position is on the outside of the palm.
I have a friend who had a stroke. I think I've told you about her. And she said actually she's going back to Montreal. She's a physical therapist herself, a body worker, and all of her friends want to work on her. She said that her physio people down here have run out of ideas. I gave her a set of neuroballs, and she's very excited about using the neuroballs. One of her hands doesn't work very well.
Oh, I think that'd be a great idea.
I think that might, I think that might be really useful, really effective.
Okay. And the next position is on the inside of the palm. You find a good place. I do the web between my forefinger and my thumb because it feels good there. But you can find your own spot. right, and the last position is the base of the thumb. Just find a good spot there. 40 seconds.
One of the nice things about the hand series is we can do them both.
At the
Same
same
time.
time.
It's very
Unlike-
efficient, very efficient. Okay, go ahead and switch your floor seated position, cross your legs, recross your legs. Something a little different. We're going to do a cervical side bend. I'm up on my haunches like Kathy was, but you can be down wherever is comfortable for you. And then you're just going to drop your right ear. So sitting tall, drop your right ear to your right shoulder.
And keep your back straight. I have a tendency to lean.
Keep your back straight if you can, as best you can. And then halfway through, which is in 2 seconds, now go ahead and drop your chin a little forward for a slightly different stretch. You're still having a cervical side bend. When you come out of this, come back with your chin first, then bring your cervical spine up to center. Go to the other side, left ear, left shoulder. And then go ahead and drop your chin. And chin up first, and then the cervical spine comes up. Let's go on to thoracic side bend. Go ahead and switch the stack of your knees or come to another floor seated position. And then slide your right arm out along the mat. And so the first thing I want you to do is kind of go to the left a little bit. So that you're making a C curve with your arm and your thoracic spine. The top arm, the other arm comes up and over. If you can do that, some of us can't today. And just staying here and breathing and imagining what's happening to your thoracic spine. Then go ahead and take your elbow, top elbow, forward a little bit for the last half of the stretch. And slowly come back up. Go to the other side. Slide your other arm along the floor. Bring your other opposite arm on top. Floor seated side bend. Hip work, arm work, spine work. Bring your elbow forward. Get another stretch at the armpit. Bring your elbow back. Bring your whole torso up to seated. Spine twist. Take your left hand, put it on your right knee. Take your right arm behind you, spider fingers, and rotate your thoracic spine to the right. If you want to add sliding of the rib cage, go ahead and do that. But try not to involve your shoulders, just the rib cage. Sit tall. Your head can be facing forward over your chest, or it can be looking back towards your shoulder. Go ahead and unravel yourself all the way back. And switch to the other side, right hand, left knee, left hand behind you, spider fingers. Rotate your spine to the left. And if you'd like to, you can add rib cage slide. And slowly bring yourself back to a seated position. We're going to do the sideline practice now. So lying on your side, maybe with a brick under your head. Your spine should be straight, all the way straight, and the knees stacked, the shoulders stacked, the ankles stacked. And the first, we could do two triplets on the shoulders, and then we'll see how we do on the leg, whether we get to the legs. So the top arm goes straight out, and you're going to do a scapula protraction, retraction 6 times. So remember, this is a move that happens in the scapula. The arms move because you move the scapula. And then come as far forward with your scapula as you can, far away, protraction. And retraction, bring it as far back as you can. This is a really good movement to keep our shoulders and upper back healthy. And then go ahead and rest your hand on along your hip. If you're doing it, well, this is probably not. I say some people will feel fatigue. I was going to say if you're doing it right, you'll feel tired, but I'm not sure that's everybody's experience. But it's mine. Go ahead and bring your arm back to where it was, and then just open it up to the ceiling, and then bring it back in front of you. And then do this with awareness, trying not to move the stack of the shoulders, try not to move the torso. The only thing that's moving is this arm. It's a lateral abduction, adduction. If you're practicing the sideline series at home, you could do 12. It's going to be a longer practice, and you'll be more tired actually. Whenever you've done 6 or so, just put your hand on your hip and relax. And then the last one in this series is an internal and external rotation. The arm goes up toward the ceiling, and then you're going to rotate it in. So make a soft fist so you're not using rear wrist. and rotating at the shoulder bone. You may even want to put your hand on that bone. Rotating in, that's internal rotation, and then rotate as far out as you can, external rotation. So your arm is out up to the ceiling, but just so you know, you could do this at any angle along from all the way down almost to your hip, and then all the way up over your head by your ears. Just this movement is this internal external rotation is a good movement at any of those angles. All the way forward and all the way backward. And then whenever you've done 6, just rest for a minute, put your hand on your hip and rest. And that was the first 3, the triplet, the first triplet. We're going to do another shoulder triplet. The first thing we're going to do is called, I call it technical snow angels. We're going to take your arm and rotate it and externally rotate it as far as you can so the palm is up toward the ceiling. And then you bring your arm up by your ears. By that time, it's facing the floor. When you get to your destination, shift it so that your palm is facing forward and then come on back to your hip. And then again, extreme external rotation. The arm comes up over by the ear, if you can get it there. Shift a little bit, palm forward and come on back. And do 4 more of these. Slowly is good. You're retraining the brain. You're retraining the brain to move in this pure, fundamental, functional way. Everything I teach is functional so that you can keep functioning. When you're done with this technical snow angel, bring your arm back to your hip. You can rest a little bit. And then start to make circles, so shoulder circles. So bring your arm back behind you and up by your ear, in front of you, by your hip. Keep going. Breathing, becoming aware, paying attention to what is happening and where it's happening. You don't want to move your torso or your hips or your head or your face. Just this arm and the arm bone in the socket, arm bone in the socket. And whenever you've done 6, reverse your circle. And whenever you've done 6 in this direction, just rest for a minute. You should feel a lot of energy at the shoulder. The last one in this triplet is called flying pizza. You're going to bend your elbow. And then you move your forearm is all that's moving. You move it back and rotate the forearm. And then bring it back. So, and return it on the same trajectory. So open it up, rotate, and then bring it back. You should feel this at the rotator cuff muscles. Okay, so I can do this with you. Instead of the last series being the leg lifts that we do, we're gonna do some knee and ankle stuff on our backs. So lie on your back. And there's gonna be 3 of these. Lie on your back. And the first thing you're going to do is just rotate, extend your legs. And you're going to rotate, just make ankle circles. So ankle circles. Your heels can be on the floor. You can lift your heels up a little bit. Doesn't matter. You could even put your legs on a brick. And then do a reverse your circles. And now go ahead and dorsiflex and plantar flex. So keep your legs extended, dorsiflex and plantar flex. If you want to, you can be up on a tabletop. It doesn't matter. I just want you to do, these are calf stretches. I just want you to do them. Find out what you like best. So dorsiflex, plantar flex. Dorsiflex, toes towards your nose. Plantar flex, away. Dorsiflex as big as you can and as big as you can the other direction. This is what ballet dancers do all the time. And go ahead and relax from that. And to put your hand at the ASIS, near where the head of the femur comes into the hip socket. And I want you to rotate. Now let's do one at a time so you can focus. We're starting with the right leg, rotate it out, external rotation as far as you can go. And then internal rotation as far as you can go. And then roll it back and forth, external and internal, and it's all happening at the hip joint. And make sure that that's where it's happening, because we're going to do some other things at the knee. And one of the reasons I'm having you do this is so you can make the distinction for what we're going to do next, which is going to be a rotation at the knee. Out. And by the way, this is such an easy movement, but it's a very profound one, internally rotating and externally rotating at the hip. Make sure it's happening at the hip. And then whenever you're ready, switch sides and do about 6 on the other side. Rotate left hip all the way out and all the way in. And all the way out and all the way in. If you have a hip replacement, you have to listen to your own body, especially so that you're not rotating, externally rotating all the way out of the socket. And see if you can notice the difference between your left and right hips. Kathy, lead them in some core work. Remember the bent knee core work? I'm going to go answer the doorbell.
All right, we're gonna do 3 reps of 10. And what we're gonna do is lift them up into tabletop and then back down to the floor. So 3 reps of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're doing this right, your abs are going to feel it. Mine did. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and rest. Now, a good way to rest is feet apart and knees together. That also rests the psoas, but we were just working. That's a good rest. Or if you want together or straight out, whichever feels good to you. Then we'll go back and do 10 more. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Rest. I like the rest part. Because I can feel it. I've been doing these all week.
I've been doing them too because there's something I can do even with a broken arm.
Yeah. No, they're really good for lower abs.
Have you finished all of the sets or do we have one more?
You have one more.
Okay.
Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's the third one.
Okay. So next we're going to do extend your legs. And by the way, I haven't forgotten that we have to do the other side of the arms.
Okay.
That way I haven't forgotten. Okay, now what I want you to do, we're going to do the movement from at the shank. So this is a shank rotation. There is the knee actually mainly extends and flexes. So bend your knee and just move it up and down. Move it up, your foot up toward the ceiling. And that's the extension, and then moving it down, bending your knee all the way down.
Or, I'm sorry.
So your knee is bent, like in tabletop, all the way up. Okay, that's, so then if you drop it, drop not the knee, just the heel, drop the knee, not the heel, not the knee. Pull it up, pull it back up. Drop the heel, not the knee.
Oh,
That's
that.
flexion. That's
Oh.
flexion of the knee. Then if you bring it up or even all the way up to the ceiling, that's extension of the knee. Just so you know. So you're going to drop your leg, you're going to drop your leg along the floor, right leg extended along the floor. And then I put my left foot on my right thigh because you're not moving the thigh. I want you to move. I want you to do a rotation, internal and external, at the knee joint. So you're just going to move from the knee and the foot, but it's not an ankle roll either. So try as much as you can. Just so you know, there's not much rotation available at the knee and, you know, to rotate side to side. That's not what it mainly does. It mainly flexes and extends. But if you have knee issues or ankle issues, if you can do this a little bit, even just a little bit, it's going to help. So this is specifically designed to create strength and flexibility in the knee. So the top foot is putting pressure on the thigh so that the thigh doesn't move. You're not moving at the hip. You're not moving at the ankle. You're moving the shank, the foreleg, and the knee joint. Switch sides. We did this seated the other day, but I was doing this, you can imagine, lying on my back on the couch, and I'm like, no, this is better because you can put your right foot on the thigh and keep it from moving. And I think you get a little more rotation while you're supine. Remember, this is not an ankle rotation, not a hip rotation. You're trying to rotate at the knee as much as your knee allows you, which is usually isn't much. I usually say to people when they have knee issues, work on your ankles and your hips, but in this case, we're working specifically on the knee. Okay, whenever you're finished, go to the other side for the side lying shoulder series. Shoulder, for the first one in this triplet is shoulder protraction, retraction. 6 times. Top arm, scapula moves. And whenever you're ready, whenever you're done about 6, go ahead and just rest your arm on your hip. And the next move is a lateral abduction, adduction. So starting at the same place, bring your arm out to the side or out up to the ceiling and then back. Abduction, no, adduction, abduction, lateral. And then last one in this triplet is internal and external rotation at the head of the arm bone. So your arm goes up again. And then if you'd like to, you can put your other hand at the base of the arm bone to do it, to feel it. Make a small, soft fist so that you're not using your wrist or your elbow. And make sure that whatever rotation is happening at the shoulder joint, at the arm bone, head of the arm bone, in the glenohumeral joint. And just internally rotate and externally rotate. And then let's rest. Next triplet, technical snow angels. So you're going to externally rotate your arm so the palm is toward the ceiling, and then bring it all the way up by your ear. And then when you get there, rotate a little bit so that the palm is facing forward and bring it on down, and do 6 of these. And then whenever you're done with that, the next one is shoulder circles. Just bring your arm around. Circumvention, you're actually doing all of the various directions of movement that are available for the head of the arm bone, the head of the humerus, in your glenohumeral joint. And there's quite a bit of availability there because this joint is very shallow. The glenohumeral joint, very shallow, much more shallow than the acetabulum, where the femur head sits. Whenever you've done about 6, then reverse it. And then whenever you're done with that, flying pizza, bend your elbow, keep your elbow tucked in, and rotate the forearm out to the side and up toward the ceiling. And you're rotating the wrist and the forearm when you come up, and then you're unrotating when you come back. You should feel this in the rotator cuff at the back of the shoulder. And there you have it. Okay, let's go to Yoganuja. So find yourself in a comfortable position on the floor. Supine, you can put your legs up. I recommend you putting your legs up actually on a bench or a box or a chair. You want to be comfortable. You may want to put a blanket over you. Or you may want to put a washcloth over your eyes. I'm going to guide you through 61 body points, points on your body. I don't want you to move your body. I want you to move your mind and your attention to those points as I mention them. First thing we're going to start with is the breath. Just watching the breath go in and out. And observe your abdomen as it rises and falls. And then bring your awareness to the center of your eyebrows, center of your throat, right shoulder, elbow, wrist, right thumb, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, fifth finger, right wrist, elbow, shoulder, center of your throat, left shoulder, elbow, wrist, left thumb, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, fifth finger, left wrist, elbow, shoulder, center of your throat, spiritual heart center, right side of your chest, heart center, left side of your chest, heart center, navel center, center of your pelvis, right hip, knee, ankle, right big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe, right ankle, knee, hip, center of your pelvis, left hip, knee, ankle, left big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe, left ankle, knee, hip, center of your pelvis, navel center, heart center, center of your throat, center of your eyebrows. This completes our 61-point guided yoga nidra meditation. Go ahead and start to wiggle and extend your legs and bring your arms overhead. Legs and arms stretching in two different directions, opposite directions, right side, left side, both sides. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Rotate your wrists and your ankles. Hug your right knee to your chest and your left knee to your chest. And then both knees hugging, rocking from side to side. Releasing the lower back and the hips and the spine. Whenever you're ready, roll all the way to one side into a fetal position with your bottom arm as a pillow. Stay here to thank yourself for coming to the class today, joining us. And now press up from your other arm, your other hand, into a seated position. We're going to go into Namaste, the closing, and I'm going to turn off the spotlight and put my view on gallery so I can see everybody. Maybe you'll want to do that too. I can't do that for you. just go ahead and bring your hands into prayer pose. And press your hands together strongly first. Maybe you can feel some of the work we did in the shoulders with your hands. And then go ahead and soften the prayer pose. And bring your skull, the base of your skull, up away from your shoulders. So you can roll it forward, nodding, bowing. The spine is still straight, cervical spine straight. The only thing that moves, rolls is the skull. Forward. Noticing and knowing that each of us is a light, is a brilliant light. And that we're all one light. All those brilliant lights, one light. And we'll close by saying to each other, Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.